To be honest, I was avoiding covering any comedy films because I didn't think that I would have had anything to add to it to make it my own kind of funny. But then again, you can't grow if you stick to your comfort zone, so let's see how this goes. Today we'll be looking at The Mask, which I believe was my introduction to Jim Carrey and all his craziness. Either that or Ace Ventura.
Alrighty then.
I have said before that I don't really enjoy comedy movies or funny actors, but something about Jimmy Boy I just can't seem to resist.
There is no me.
There's no you.
No.
As always, I'll be sharing my thoughts as the movie progresses, so kick back, relax, grab some popcorn or coffee. Subscribe. And let's do this thingy-majiggy. The movie starts off at this place called Edge City, and these scuba diving sea welders come across a half-buried treasure box. Wait, what the hell? They dropped in a pipe that hit Broseph and opens the box itself, letting out the mask.
This place is cursed.
Yeah, that mask is cursed. This opening strongly reminds me of Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories. Tell me you don't see the difference. Cut over to Stanley here making the extra effort to get 2 tickets to a sold-out concert. And this wench has the audacity to ask if a friend can go. And do you know what my boy says?
Why don't you just go with your friend? This is Stanley. I couldn't do that.
Why don't you stop shoving yourself in the friend zone, my guy?
Stanley, you are the nicest guy.
Oh, So, I have some news. I got those 2 tickets to the Taylor Swift concert you wanted to go to. Ooh, those bad boys cost me $1,000 each. Thank you, Bob. You're so sweet. You're like the nicest brother I never had.
That was the most sickening display I've ever seen.
I fully agree. Don't be a simp. So anyways, Charlie here tells Stanley that tonight he's carrying him on a love safari. Ooh, fancy.
This is going to be the perfect night on the town.
Well, that wasn't ominous at all. And in walks this lovely individual with 2 very big personalities. Oh, her name is Tina, by the way, if anybody cared.
I will hold anything you want.
Thank you.
Anyways, while Stanley is trying to talk to her about opening an account, she's doing whatever this is.
Several different plans. Trading.
A perfect representation of what is happening right now. But it turns out she's helping this evil guy scope out the bank. Here's a fun lesson. If it seems too good to be true, then it probably is. Anyways, apparently evil guy is an underling for a bigger, eviler guy, but he wants to overthrow him. Stanley stops by the mechanic to pick up his car and they tell him
the brake drums are shot and you need a new transmission.
He just went for an oil change. Okay, so your total is $2,000. What? $2,000? How did it come up to so much? Oh, I added a case for you. Oh, that's nice, but it still doesn't... Oh, I also added a screen protector, stand, cooling pad, power bank, power strip, and an extended warranty. I just wanted a laptop charger. Stanley emphasizes that he needs a car for tonight's love safari, so they loan him the loaner. More like the loner, am I right? Charlie bribes the bouncer to let them in, but I have no idea why Stanley was turned around, so they entered without him. But why is bro taking a photo of this? Was that not supposed to be in the movie? He's not in the following scenes. Yeah, tonight is gonna be great. And who was in that car? None other than Tina.
I'm just catching some air out here.
Your car, sir.
What amazing timing. He shuts down on the bridge in the middle of the night. You know, your everyday circumstances, with literally nobody else in sight. So it's sad boy hour now and he sees what looks like a person in the water. So Stan, being the good guy he is, goes to rescue him. But it was just a pile of garbage. So that makes 2 piles of garbage. Dun dun dun! It's the mask from earlier. I feel like that water is dirty as hell. Like, couldn't you just wait until you reach home? Or is the mask like so alluring that like you just feel the need to put it on when you... Anyways, some police stop him from putting it on then and there, so now he's actually back home.
My new carpet!
Is her name Karen?
Nothing. Well, that's what you are, Ipkiss. I beg nothing.
Wow, Karen is a meanie. And now we are introduced to the best character in the whole movie.
Hey, you! Milo?
Milo. While watching TV, Milo gets some bad juju vibes from the mask and it gets Stanley's attention again. So tell me something. Why would you want to put it back on after you saw for yourself that it basically attaches itself to you? Crazy! So anyways, he puts it back on and he turns into this cartoonish character.
Spoken!
Called The Mask. But it's really just a slightly exaggerated version of Jim Carrey, to be honest, so... You know, after witnessing something like that, that is probably the most appropriate response. So, shoot now, ask questions later. He stumbles onto these thugs and bro is just completely altering reality. The mask is the reality stone, I'm calling it. Anyways, he does balloon animals for the thugs.
Sorry, wrong pocket.
Oh my god! His last balloon wraps into a Tommy gun and he blasts at them till nobody remains. They just ran away actually. Then he goes to the mechanic and they're still there, so I'm actually completely lost as to what time it is right now. The next morning he wakes up and realizes it was all just a dream. Until a detective comes knocking on his door and he realizes it was not a dream. So oh no. While getting ready for work he throws the mask out the window but it just boomerangs itself back. And it turns out he used those mufflers he had earlier to give the mechanics a prostate with it. I completely forgot about Charlie, but he's a terrible friend. He felt sorry for Stanley just yesterday and started to hype him up that he would enjoy last night. But he just failed to do any of those things. Tina makes the paper, so the talk of her comes up.
A girl like that is always looking for the BBD, the bigger, better deal.
Was that really what you wanted to say? Anyways, a reporter named Peggy came to interview Stanley because he's a customer at the auto shop. Which is strange, would reporters normally go to the customers after something bad happens at a store? Or is it just so that Stanley could know what went down?
Why are you covering this story?
Because dear Peggy pays Dick. I'm starving to death.
Very poor choice of words.
This is my, personal number.
Okay, maybe it was the right choice of words. Meanwhile, evil guy gets summoned by eviler guy because he basically knows what he's up to. So he uses him as a golf ball holder.
Now it's time to
Get out of
down.
And tells him to get out of town. That night, Stanley dreams over how that night should have actually gone in an ideal world, which is his dream. He's a bit freaky with it too. Oh, never mind, it was Milo disturbing him. Why did bro stick the article onto his mirror? They interacted once. Actually, never mind, I've been there. He now sees that the mask is back on the couch, so I'm sure you know he does the same thing and just throws it in the trash. Nope. It's time to go partying, but he doesn't have any money, so it's time for a stop. Conveniently enough, the evil guy has guys looking to rob that same bank at that same time, but they're a bit too late and the cops show up. I would make a remark about how insane it is that these people make no reaction to someone wearing a mask and caring about their lives, but I feel like this was just slightly ahead of its time because things have gotten...
Okay, so tell me all about this.
worse. You do you, boo. After Tina does her performance, the mask takes over the show. Meanwhile, evil guy's henchmen tell him about the mask robbing the bank before them, and he's conveniently dancing with his woman. Well, right then. The guy shot at the mask while Tina was right next to him. Evil guy should make him meet his maker for carelessness like that. Anyways, they try to shoot at him, and you'd think that him bending his body would be enough for them to know that it won't work. Typical Tuesday, I guess. They finally get a shot at him, and they look at each other with so much approval. And I love it so much.
Pardon me.
Oh my god, why? Just why, dog? Turns out it was just a performance, so they just keep trying. Again, but the police show up this time and take them. Not before noticing this particular piece of clothing that the goon shot off while he was being a complete fool.
Impossible.
Those pajamas are impossible.
It's a good thing for this comment. Anyways, the next morning he goes banging on Stanley's door and wow! That is where you will store it, seriously.
Don't insult my intelligence, Ipkiss. There can't be two idiots with pajamas like these.
Joke's on you, cause I'm that idiot. No, I'm not that idiot, but the pajamas aren't that bad though.
May I see those pajamas, Mr. Ipkiss?
Those pajamas were stolen.
So that worked, I guess. Meanwhile, evil guy puts a 50k bounty on the mask and he wants him tomorrow. Alive. And he's salty about Tina kissing him. Looks like Stanley is finally starting to stand up for himself. Not the ideal moment, but good for you, my guy. Tina shows up to tell Stanley that she can't open up an account anymore because of fundings.
You ought to see him dance.
Keep it in your pants, woman. Jeez. So naturally, Stanley says he knows the mask and taught him everything he knows about dancing. I want to pick on you for that, but look at her. So they arrange for a meeting with him.
Thanks, Stanley. You really are a nice guy.
See you in the gym, bro. Stanley goes over to this guy who specializes in masks and he says it possibly represents one of those Norse night gods, specifically Loki. So my MCU theory confirmed. You're welcome. So, if you somehow lived in a hole when the entire MCU saga was happening for 10 plus years and you don't know who Loki is, he's the god of mischief and he was so bad that the big OG god called Odin banished him from Valhalla. So Stanley thinks Loki was banished into the mask, but the mask expert thinks he's just being Delulu. So time to prove him wrong. Oh my god. I guess it only works at night then. He tells her he needs to see Tina tonight, but he's not sure if to go as himself or the mask.
If I tell you, you promise to leave my office right now?
He's handling his insanity pretty well, I'd say. Meanwhile, the detective is tailing him, and the fingerprints from the bank robbery matches Stanley. Frick. They have a nice little chat about toxic gases, then Stanley just runs away.
I will reveal my croissant. I will spread your pâté.
That was insanely graphic. Holy hell. Oh my god. Broseph is coming on way too strong.
Like Napoleon, I will divide and conquer.
And he's horny as hell. Thankfully, the police show up before anything went bad. And this scene has been in my head rent-free for all these years.
It wasn't me. It was the one-armed man.
And I really don't know why. While they're searching his void of a pocket for items.
Picture of Kellaway's wife?
What? Uh-oh.
Margaret!
What is this movie, Dread? Moving on. He escapes and seals up the gate only to find himself surrounded. But he breaks into song and dance and manipulates the whole situation. That is some overpowered abilities. He hides and takes off the mask and the reporter girl Peggy pulls up for him to escape with her. She got word earlier that he was being arrested, but I just kind of skipped over that because you're welcome. He opens up to her about having a problem and he's not sure what to do about it. And she gives him some very sentimental words, so that was nice.
Do you really mean that?
Actually, no.
What? Wow, she sold him out for 50k. Jeez.
Women.
Frick. So evil guy puts on the mask, but I wonder why he has all these special clouds around him. I guess you have to visually differentiate between the good person and the evil person. I guess. Bro seems way more calm and cunning now. Damn.
Money better be here, Ipkiss, or you can Ipkiss your ass goodbye.
Honestly, I can't tell if that's clever or cheesy. Meanwhile, Milo sees the goons taking the money and checks out the window only to see Stanley tied in the car. So he waits for them to leave and tails them. A dog. So they throw Stanley onto the detective with a fake green mask on him. So now it's jail time. He hears barking and it's mad. He tells Milo he's going to be there for a long time and Milo looks so sad. Poor Milo. Tina comes to visit him for some reason.
Is it true? You're the mask.
Oh yeah, she couldn't keep it in her pants, right. But she tells him she thinks evil guy is gonna be doing something very bad tonight.
Thanks.
For what?
Lots of things.
Like telling you he'd spread you like butter and stick his croissant in your pee-pee hole?
For being the only guy who treated me like a person and not some sort of party favor.
When exactly did he do that? This right here is like the only proper conversation you guys ever had. The only other thing he did was dance. Oh no, the goons are here for her. Oh no. Stanley hears screaming. That's a mighty conveniently placed prison cell, to be honest. He tries telling the police officer, but he isn't buying any of it. I mean, at the very least, just go outside and check. That was some very loud screaming. He calls on to Milo to try and jump up to him, but to no success. Poor Milo. Evil guy gets his hands on Tina and is actually insanely scary without the mask. Frick! And Milo gets the much needed jump boost. Go Milo! So he sends him for the keys. Like, that's actually hella impressive. Like, he really did that. Frick! Just when he's about to escape, detective shows up, so he takes him as his prisoner. Meanwhile, Evil Guy blows through the doors of the event that Evil Guy is holding. He lets him empty his magazine on him, then he just spits back out the bullets. So Evil Guy is no more. Stanley reaches and tells detective to radio in backup and somehow manages to sneak inside by knocking out this bouncer from earlier who had no trouble handling him by himself a few nights ago. But okay. Wait, they plant explosives to set the place ablaze in 10 minutes? Why? Evil Guy is gone already. Like, what else is there to do? So much for being cunning. Frick. And Stanley gets caught. That was actually very pointless. Wow, and Milo lets himself out of the car. Yep. Best character in the movie. Tina makes a last request for a kiss and bro just gets insanely horny. But she says she prefers to kiss him without the mask. And what does he do? He yanks it off. The power of the croissant and the woman pee-pee areas. She kicks the mask from his hand and while everyone is trying to catch it, Milo does. Yes! One of the henchmen catches him so he actually puts on the freaking mask. What? That was actually one of the coolest scenes I've seen as a kid. One of. That was so cool. Damn. Meanwhile, Stanley's in a fist fight with Evil Guy and he's actually winning. Looks like he was always the mask. And Milo's just soloing everyone else. He yanks off the mask from Milo and runs after it. I'm still not sure why they're using such a useless item. It's been proven time and time again that it actually doesn't work. Wow, the bomb is only 5 seconds left and he just swallows it. So crisis averted. Evil Guy still doesn't give up, so Stanley just flushes him down wherever that goes. Luckily, the mayor was at the party and saw that Stanley saved them, and Evil Guy was actually the mask, so he's off the hook now. That morning, they drive to the bridge and Tina throws the mask and they live happily ever after. But not before Charlie literally jumps after it. And that's the movie. I can't remember which video I said it in, but 90s and early 2000s movies really do be hitting differently. It's a shame that they don't really make movies like this anymore, but on the other side of it, if they didn't start making different films, that's the best way I could put it, then we wouldn't be appreciating these gems. There's not really much to say about it, to be honest. Like, it was dumb fun with some very likable characters and Jim Carrey just being Jim Carrey. I guess you could say he was made for this role because I really can't see anybody else doing this. I do want to say though that it's actually a pretty sad story now that I think about it. Like, it's pretty similar to if he got his hands on some addicting substances where he gains an ungodly amount of confidence when he's usually lacking in that area. So he'd essentially start relying on it to be the person he wishes he could be. But thankfully this is a movie and he actually decides to step up and be his potential self rather than relying on external means. So yeah. Anyways, I feel like I'm yapping now, so that's it from me. Thanks for watching.